Welcome to Salaam Nerds Podcast. We do reviews and recaps of nerd culture, reality TV, and current events from this week.
Yo, it's the Salaam Nerds. My name is Dean, aka Justhugees, and I'm here with my boy Chad.
We drop live episodes on YouTube on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. All episodes can also be found everywhere podcasts are found. Thank you to all our supporters. Please help us by subscribing and leaving a good review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Yo, Salaam Nerds. It's your boy Neebs, aka Watch with Neebs, and I am here with our boy Justhugees. What's going on?
Yes,
we haven't had you on the show for a while. How are you?
Man, it's been so long. I've been feeling good though.
Good, man. We have not had you on our show since Thor: Love and Thunder, and I was like, we gotta fix that. And usually we do a new show now. Usually we do recaps of like movies, TV shows, but now we do something called Salaam Nerds Weekly, which is what we talk about everything that happened in that week. And it'll be nerd culture, it'll be current events. But this week, there is nothing more poppin' than hip-hop beef, which is a fun time to be a hip-hop fan. Like, I've been a hip-hop fan from the 90s, from the early 80s, because I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, and you know, I live like where Faith Hill used to go to school, like Biggie's wife. Redman's from there. Like, I used to see Redman, was in Method Man all the time, because Redman and him are like boys. So like, I was like totally immersed in that culture back in the 90s. And then like college, I had a little bit of like, you know, I need to focus on school, so I didn't really keep up as much. But then like whenever these rap battles happen, man, it just like sucks you back in, because the last rap battle that I was like really invested in, like I know there's the Eminem ones and like there's a few Drake ones, but like the biggest one, or the first one that I was like really invested in, was the Nas and Jay-Z, which was my favorite.
Man, iconic, literally iconic, a part of the history books, man.
I know, and it's so funny because the song just starts off like "fuck Jay-Z," and then you know they got calling each other Tybo hoes and all these like fun
Rockefeller Records,
Rockefeller Records, and that's the person you name. You know, it's so good, right? But rap beefs have changed. I think Kendrick changed the way we look at it, because there's something.
So too.
Because this is like not a friendly rivalry. Like there's allegations. There's
a bunch of stuff coming out, man. Like Drake being an absent father again. Fake children. Like, bro, this is like, obviously, like this is one of the biggest moments in music history. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, you can't even. I've never seen anything this big. Ever. Especially in my lifetime, because I grew up in the Meek Mill Drake era, obviously the Drake and the Pusha T. Like, I got to witness the late 2010s, and I grew up with these artists, and you know, it's kind of crazy to see them still here. It's cool. I love Drake. I love Kendrick, but Kendrick is my number one, man. Like, he's my dog. Like, I don't even like West Coast music like that. But like Kendrick, no, for real, like Kendrick, bro. Like, he was the one that really got me into like the Nipsey Hustles, like all that West Coast movement, man. So it's kind of tough to see your faves go at it, but this is hip hop, man. It's a competition, it's a sport, it's not a popularity contest, and I think that's what we're really losing sight of what really matters. Like, hip hop is a competitive sport, man. Whoever raps better, whoever has the better verse, that's who wins. And I think it really depends. It's subjective. A lot of people have, you know, their own biases, but I think that Kendrick is winning based on the records that he's making. But again, Drake is also making some power moves behind the scenes, you know, planting fake children and like all these antics, and it's funny, it's hilarious. I think the social media stuff, I think it kind of gives us some insight behind like what's going on behind the scenes, but it's not the same as it used to be. Like me and one of my friends, we were talking about what beefs would be like if Tupac and Biggie
Yeah.
were alive, if they were alive today. And if you really think about it, they would have died a lot sooner. Because like the stuff that no, super real. Like the stuff that we're seeing is just like crazy. It's egregious. And like back then, there was no filter. There is
Yeah.
no like
Yeah.
just say what you want, and it's tough, man. It really is tough
Yeah.
to see your faves go at it.
Yeah, no, the beef is definitely crazy, and yeah, like I'm a fan of both, and also Metro, and also J. Cole, and like
Yeah,
all these other people that are involved, and like it's really interesting to go through the timeline of how everything happened because a lot of these people were very friendly, like you know. Drake was featured on Kendrick stuff, or and vice versa. Like they've done tours together, and they were super cool. And then things, kind of pulling out, which is why I feel like this is so much more like, I don't know, impactful because like
yeah.
you know each other. They're not
It,
just
it feels it feels like a war.
yeah,
Like that's literally. I don't want to say that because like it's not, but like it feels like serious beef. Like these people could never be friends ever again. They can never work
no.
again ever. And that's unfortunate because they both make really good music, and I feel like they could work together someday. But like all that's down the drain. It's
Yeah.
done for. Like the Drake being a colonizer, he's a white man. Like
That's
he's not tapped in. He's not tapped in with the culture. He's a half people saying half breed mix. Like it's funny. It's funny. I'm not gonna lie, but there's a little bit of truth to the things that people are saying.
yeah.
Drake is, I mean, he's arguably one of the biggest artists in the world. Like there's
Yeah.
The Weeknd, there's Taylor Swift, there's Beyonce, there's Drake.
Yeah.
Those are some of the biggest artists in the game. Like Kendrick,
Kanye.
yeah, Kanye. Like Kendrick is a big artist, but he's a hip hop artist first. And for a
Right.
lot of people, they don't listen to they listen to pop music, and Drake is pop music, but they don't listen to hip hop. And it's really starting some very interesting discussions because we're seeing two demographics go at it, and I'm not talking about like race or anything. I'm talking about just like demographics that actually listen to hip hop, and then people that are caught up in the, like I said, the popularity stuff. So
Right.
it's tough, man. Like it really is sad, but it is entertaining. It's like WrestleMania. Like we're
That's what
literally
I was gonna
watching
say.
WrestleMania, bro.
It's like wrestling, and there's this term in wrestling called kayfabe. So kayfabe is like when people are like outside of wrestling and they still maintain the persona and the storylines that are happening.
Exactly.
Like the storyline will be fake for the show, but they'll go on like a talk show and still talk about that person as if it's a real beef.
They're
And
selling
like
it.
they're selling it exactly. And I'm
Yeah.
like, is that what's happening here? Because now there's social media outside of the like songs, and there's memes being thrown around, and Drake's
Dude,
throwing around
the
memes.
memes are so good. And the J. Cole ones, the J.
Yeah.
Cole memes, like he really dodged the bullet. It's so funny. It's so funny, man. It's hilarious.
Yo, I swear to God, smartest man in hip hop.
Yes. Dude, it was strategic, and I think he just knew that he couldn't get these two guys together. Because
Yeah.
originally it was supposed to be the first person shooter was supposed to be them, all three of them. So
All
like
three
the
of them,
big
yeah,
three
big
on
three.
big three on one record. But that never materialized. And yeah, it's
Now,
they're
now it'll
done.
never
They're
happen.
done.
We're never
We
getting the
don't
big
even, we don't
three.
even know if J. Cole will be able to work with either of them because he's like in the middle. Like so it's like
Yeah,
what do you do, bro? Like at this point, there's nothing you can do. So
that's crazy.
I,
Someone says, I think the win will show when Drake can find a new guy from the hood and collab with. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
here's and that's really the argument, man, because Drake, because he is, again, he's the Nickelodeon kid, the
Yeah.
Degrassi kid, who crossed over into music. A lot of people they listen to him because he's a popular guy, and because he's able to reach out to multiple cultures. He's in the UK, he's in Toronto, like he really embraces basically everything. He has a Jamaican
Yeah.
accent. He embraces like the South. He embraces Houston. So like where I'm from, like Houston rap was like really big in the early
Yeah,
2000s. And Drake actually came here. He started his tour or something like back in like 2010, 2011. Like
yeah.
that's when he really got his big break, and like Houston kind of accepted him because it's like it's a very diverse culture down here. So
No,
it's
I agree
it's
with you. I feel like Drake has this crazy talent and strategy where he can get anyone from every culture to kind of like, get excited about his music, and like he'll drop in cultural references. Like I remember the first time I heard Drake drop a reference, he was like, what is that Slumdog Millionaire Bollywood flow? Like he
yeah,
dropped that. I was like, oh, Bollywood's mentioned in a rap song. And then he mentions like a lenga, which is like the traditional clothing that like Indian women wear and Pakistani women wear. So I'm like, that's really cool to see him like introduce or introduce an audience to some of our culture through his music. So I really love that about Drake all the time. And it's probably why like every brown girl and every brown guy got a
dude,
Drake quote
it's
in their Instagram.
dude. He's just he's so big, man. And the thing about him, man, it's the argument that he's a colonizer. I hate it, but there is some validity to it to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Cause when you ride waves, a lot of people will criticize you for kind of copying and jacking styles, and that's a real
Yeah.
big thing in hip hop. Like being original and being yourself and being true to who you are, like that's like a tenet in hip hop. Like,
Yeah.
but at the same time, a lot of these rappers, they're out here lying. They're saying things that they don't believe. They're saying things that aren't really true, and I mean that's part of it too. But with Drake, he's a kid from the suburbs. He's rich.
Mhm.
Um, Again, like he's never been tapped in with the gang culture like that, but he
Yeah.
does have he has the mob ties. I don't know
Mhm.
if you pay attention to um, like the first person that's like signed him. It was Rap A Lot Records. It was Jay Prince. It was Jay Prince's son, and Jay Prince is like a really big music mogul. There's a lot of crazy stuff behind him, but that's who really discovered him, and that's how he got his break. Drake kind of he got tapped in with the Houston culture, and after that, got tapped in with Wayne, and then the rest was history. Cash Money. He signed to
Yeah.
Birdman. You know, like it's he could have easily have been like an R&B artist like The Weeknd and still been
Yeah.
as big, but again, like hip hop it's this growing culture, and he was really trying to ride that wave, and I don't blame him. It's the music he makes is it's good, man. We love listening to it, but um,
It
you're
it's
from
good.
Toronto. You're from Canada. Like come on,
Yeah.
bro.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. There's a lot of things that are happening and are in motion that I think are really interesting, and I've noticed a lot of people talk about it, uh, which is interesting. I know you brought up the fact that like his, is there a little bit of appropriation happening with him, and it's really interesting as like a brown man who's not like, someone who's like observe the culture but not participating into it because I'm not black, obviously. It's really interesting to see because like you have to now police these things, and at the black community that can be very, very difficult. I know like in our brown community
Absolutely.
we have to police a few things too and gatekeep
Ain't
a few
nothing wrong.
things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with gatekeeping. Ain't nothing
Right.
wrong with gatekeeping, man. Like, and then people will make you feel bad for it. But like, what this is a 50-year culture.
Yeah.
Hip hop was not born yesterday. Like this
No.
shit's been going on forever, decades both of us were born.
Yeah.
So it's like we want to protect the culture. We want it to be sacred.
Yeah.
But again, to do that, we also have to acknowledge that there's some fakers in the industry.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not saying Drake is. I mean, he could be one of them. And we don't know him personally, but like the cultures that he embraces, the sounds that he takes, um, he has no connection to him. And I think there's so many artists that we could name that got their big break. They signed to OVO, and they
Right.
never really popped off.
Mm.
Um, I think it was I Love McConan. I don't know if you remember him as an artist, but he had the club going up on Tuesday, that shit Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he signed with OVO. We never heard of him. Like
Mm.
we I don't know where that guy is. Like
No, I don't
he
either.
was he was he was real big at the time. But like the criticism is Drake, he signs an artist to OVO. and he has him working for the sweatshop. Like the OVO
Hmm.
sweatshop has him like out there like writing songs for Drake. He wanted to sign the Weeknd. The Weeknd had to give over like 4 songs of his for House of Balloons to Take Care, and that's why like the Weeknd has beef with Drake because
Yeah.
he contributed a lot to Drake's projects and like there's a lot of writers behind the scenes and like a lot of people criticize the fact that you're a rapper that's not writing your own records. So it's people in the industry definitely have the right to call him out, but I mean as a fan, we definitely don't know all the details. It's tough, man. Like again, this is a culture that like I said that is a competitive sport. So if you're
Yeah.
not writing your own stuff, like people have every right to criticize you, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. And like coming from like the film world, like I review movies and TV shows. One of the TV shows that I did a review on was this show called Little Dicky, which is like a version of Atlanta. And Dicky is called a culture vulture, and he does
Yeah,
these things.
dude.
But the entire season was around him getting a Drake feature. Getting a Drake feature is like a huge thing in the industry. It can make or break you a lot of
Literally.
the times. And it's really interesting to see like the impact he's had on hip hop, but also like a lot of people in the same thing don't really respect him and he's got people in his own camp that are like sabotaging him because how does Kendrick know these things? How does he know?
I mean, it makes a lot of sense, man. Like, name an OVO artist
Hmm.
that has like multiple successful albums other than Drake. Maybe Party. Party's nice. Party Next Door is a
Hmm.
good artist and he has some hits, but like, name an OVO project.
Yeah.
I can't.
No.
Name a TDE project outside of Kendrick Lamar. I can
Mm.
name several. Schoolboy Q has Blue Lips. SZA has
Yeah.
SOS. SZA
Shout
has
out to SZA, by the way.
Control. Yeah, she's also she was Muslim. Yeah,
Yeah,
she
love
had a
she,
Muslim
she she she's
Muslim
got the
upbringing.
she's got the Palestine flag at every concert. Shout out to her. Love.
Literally, bruh, and she's authentic herself, man. Like
Yeah,
she's not an R&B singer. She's an artist. She's a pop artist. Like that's who she
yeah,
is. But yeah, like Toronto's a diverse culture. I don't understand why, a record label like that doesn't have its own identity. It's not out here, you know, bigger than it really should be. So it's like, I don't know, man. Like, while Drake is out here in Houston chilling, like he could be out here, promoting his artist. So
yeah.
it's pretty wild out here, man. But I don't know.
That's crazy. Someone said
And I did.
did Drake he dropped a Heart Part 6 an hour ago? Did you see
Yeah,
this?
so I listened to it. A Heart Part
Yeah,
6 is basically what it is Drake revealing that the OVO mole,
yeah.
the OVO mole is working for me. They double crossed you. You're a victim. You've been through
Mm.
stuff. Like it's just basically like I don't know. It's just kind of crazy, man. It's a weird angle. Like it's a
That is a
weird
weird
angle.
angle.
Like the fact that you couldn't actually give us like proof that you aren't a predator, and you're just
I
out here
know.
saying that like you're saying I'm too rich to be a predator. Like that's a crazy thing
That's
to say.
that's
That's just
not.
wild. So it's like that angle is not really helping you, man. And it sounds like
Yeah.
he's just putting out a record to just close the doors, man. Just like finish it. So I mean, it is
Because the
what it
thing
is.
is,
But
these rumors have been around before this drop. Like there was a thing
oh,
with
for
Drake
sure,
and Millie Bobby
Millie
Brown.
Bobby Brown.
He rented out an entire restaurant for some girl's 18-year-old birthday, some model. Like,
That's crazy.
who
The
does
girl
that,
on
man?
stage at his concert, he had like a
Yeah,
girl that he brought on stage, and then like he was like groping her or something like that,
yeah.
and that came out in this video of it. And then there's also like some weird
And the
like
Diddy thing just happened. The Diddy
yeah the
thing
Diddy
just
Diddy
happened.
thing,
The timing of this
dude.
is wild.
It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. And then the Billie Eilish, there's Billie
Oh
Eilish
yes,
rumors.
yeah,
Dude,
you're
like
right.
it's just no one should have this much like this many rumors behind them. So it's like you gotta clear your name, man.
Yeah,
And even if you're just texting a child, like you shouldn't be in any group chat with a kid unless you have a parent there, like the
yeah.
parents in the
I
group chat, like that's
That's
just
so
like a crazy
true.
thing. Like
I
I
don't
don't
even
talk
have.
to any I don't have any minor on my phone other than my cousins that I like, family that I talk to. Like, so it's like
Yeah. I
that's
don't even have
weird.
like my nieces, like my cousin's kids on like anything. Like on, I don't have like their numbers. Uh,
Got
they're
you.
on like they're on social media, but I have them like muted so they don't see my shit. I don't see their shit, like whatever.
Yeah,
But like
definitely.
it's weird. It's a weird thing, and like that's family. I won't even do that with family.
Yeah.
Imagine people
No,
doing this with
I
like a stranger's kid.
definitely exactly like I only contact family members that I'm close to. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Family members that I can trust. So it's like it is a weird angle, man. Like what's really going on? And even if you're trying to be nice, man, just like you could be a little bit more professional in the way that you carry yourself.
Well, we just saw that whole thing that happened with Nickelodeon and how these predators
Dude,
were like getting into these people's lives, right? So like
bro,
even like there's no reason to do it. Even if your intentions are pure, there's no reason to be friends with like a child.
a child.
Yeah.
There's literally no reason. And even if they're your employee, you
Yeah.
shouldn't be contacting them outside of like I just feel like that's weird. Any minor, you should have the parent there. But
Yeah.
that's just not normal to me. And again, like it is part of the industry, man. Like the industry is they protect people like this. So even
Yeah.
if there was information, why would Drake come out with it? Like why would
Yeah.
he reveal himself? Like because that would basically get a lot more people in trouble. Like there's people in hip hop that are sketchy, man. It's not just hip
Yeah.
hop. It's just Hollywood in
It's
general,
just
man.
Hollywood
It's
in
just
general.
it's everywhere. Like evil people get success. So it's like they're
Yeah.
everywhere.
I highly recommend this book. I tell it to all my female friends. There is a book, it's called The Sociopath Next Door. And it basically breaks down about how common people with sociopathic tendencies are. And people think like a sociopath is somebody who's a psychopath. Those are two different things. Sociopath just means someone who doesn't have empathy. And what they do is they mimic empathy. And you know how common a sociopath is?
I
It's
have no clue.
1 in 25 people.
That's a lot.
That's a
That's way
lot
too
of
much.
people. It's called The Sociopath Next Door. Is available on Amazon or you can find it in bookstores. But that's such an alarming number. That's like in a classroom, one kid is probably a sociopath. They have
Yeah,
no way to actually empathize with people,
it's actually
and the thing is,
terrifying.
they're always successful. They become the CEO. They become the actors. They could become like a big deal
Type A
because they
personality, very
that's the personality.
driven.
So
Dude, it's
I don't know,
wild.
man. It's kind of wild, and I don't know. It's weird. But I do want to go through the timeline of like how everything
Let's
happened.
do it.
So I
Let's
think
do
it's
it.
fun. I want people who are like just, maybe some of our audience isn't super familiar, so they want to know what's going on. So there is a timeline of how everything happened, and
Yeah.
highly recommend going and looking at some of these songs. Some of them are not available anymore. I think like some got pulled because I think Drake
Yeah.
used AI in one of them, and that got
Yeah,
pulled.
dude. Okay. So
Yeah,
we'll get into it. We'll
we'll
get
get into
into it.
that. All
But
right.
like we before or go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so before we even try and get into it, man, we got to talk about 10 years ago, like the Control verse,
Yeah.
where Kendrick is out here naming names. Like, he's really being a friendly competitor. He's like, I'm cool with y'all, but I'm trying to murder y'all on the verses and everything. So it's like
Yeah.
that really hurt Drake, I think. And Drake
Hmm.
took that really personal.
Yeah.
And after that, they couldn't be friends. And I mean, it's crazy because they went on tour with each other. Like
Yeah.
Kendrick's first tour was with ASAP Rocky and
Yeah.
with
Good Kid,
Drake.
Mad City, right?
Exactly. So like his first big album, or I believe that was like his sophomore, or whatever.
Hmm.
Good Kid, Mad City. He goes on tour with Drake. They're cool. He drops that verse on the Big Sean album.
Yeah.
It's That's how they part ways. And then
Right.
after that, it was back and forth. They have been going back and forth for like literally 10 years, man. Just
Yeah. Yeah.
referencing each other, like not really saying things like blatant or naming names or anything.
No,
Just
I
kind of
think he
kind of
dropped
just
the
like
Ghost Rider stuff a little bit.
exactly
Yeah.
sneak this in. And then it's not until today where we're naming names. Like this
Yeah.
year, 2024, this is all out war. We don't
Yeah.
care. We're
Yeah.
naming names. Fuck the big three. It's just big me.
Yeah.
Kendrick is out here, man. And I think this probably wouldn't have happened without Metro. I don't know if you guys know the producer, Metro
I
Boomin.
love Metro. I mean, if you've seen
He's
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse or
dude, he killed that, bro. It's a children's album. He killed it, man. He
dude,
really
that
killed it.
song is so good. What's the main song? Dun, 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 dun. Oh my god, why am I blanking out on
Yeah,
this? 'Cause I
bro.
listen to it every
With
day.
ASAP Rocky, man. Yeah,
Oh,
with
it's
ASAP Rocky and
so
a bunch
good, man.
of other folks on it.
More Like
But
Us. That's what it's called. Oh god, I
yeah.
love that song.
But Metro's out here doing. He's composing with orchestras. He
Yeah,
has a collab album with Drake and 21
yeah,
Savage. He's producing half of that, or most of that actually.
yeah.
Heroes and Villains, that was a real big
Oh
thing.
my god, yeah,
Dude, it's this beef started because Metro started to notice something with Drake, and Drake is getting the popularity, but his music, it's not progressing. And we
yeah.
noticed that popularity isn't necessarily a good indicator, or sales isn't really a good indicator of success in music.
Hmm.
There's some musicians out here that I would name that are killing it, making big
Yeah.
money, but they're not making good art.
Well,
And I
that's kind
think
of relevant to what happened to them because didn't Macklemore beat them for a Grammy? He beat both Drake and Kendrick for a Grammy, and
exactly,
everyone's like,
exactly.
"What's going on here?" And like, I like me some Macklemore because he's pro Palestine right now, but like his music is come on, it's not really at that
It's
level.
not. He's
It's not at
not
that
that
level.
great. It's not
Yeah,
that great, man. But at the time, hip hop journalists, they didn't have the voice that they have now,
yeah,
and the industry was pretty much controlled by people that didn't look like me
right,
in the field, or people that were culturally competent. I feel like it's not necessarily you have to be black. It's you have to understand the genre. You have to be
right.
culturally competent. You have to know like again, like this is a long history. Like people have been doing this for so long, so it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's tough, man. It really is tough. But like all this started because of beef. It's because of
yeah,
beef. It may have been jealousy. People will say Metro was jealous, or it could just be Drake. He's winning a lot of favor, and he's not putting out good art like he used to. He's winning every
hmm,
time. Like because he's popular, he has the upper edge.
yeah,
Metro was like, "Yo, screw this. Let me get Future, Kendrick on a
yeah,
record. Let's make something." Drake sends out a cease and desist, apparently, like he
yeah,
wanted them to stop them from releasing that record. And
yeah,
after that, it's just full blown chaos. Full
yeah.
blown chaos.
It's funny. Someone's like Drake's like the MCU. He made a few good hits and now he's just coasting on like mid
That's
movies.
real.
Right?
That's real. And I think I don't know who it was, but someone on Twitter, they were comparing Kendrick and Drake, the filmmakers. And
Yeah.
I kind of posted something on that too. And I was like, if Kendrick is, let's say Scorsese,
Yeah.
then probably Drake would probably be like the Russo brothers. But kind of like
Yeah.
what you were saying, like the MCU
Right.
is hot right now. Like the MCU is really trying to like make genre films that are pretty good, but again, they're not award winning films, and that's what people
Right.
are really looking for. So it's like there's the argument of the commercially successful stuff, and then also just the critically acclaimed artwork.
Yeah.
And this is really what this is a battle over. I think like that's kind of like the overarching theme. Is hip hop this commercialized genre? Is it kind of like a bastardized version of it, what it used to be, or is it just an art form that has a culture behind it? And
Yeah.
that's kind of how I think Kendrick got involved in it. Like that's kind of what the angle that he was trying to approach it at. And I think Kendrick kind of taking the heel, like the heel role, like
Yeah.
it's kind of working. It's working it to his benefit. So I don't know,
It's
man.
interesting you say that because we brought up the WWE metaphor and there is a heel and there is a face, but there comes a time in the storyline where people engage better with the heel than they do with the face, and
Exactly.
then it changes. It's like the Stone Cold Steve Austin was always meant to be a heel, but he was so over that he became the favorite. And if you're
Yeah.
talking about it in that concept, I can understand what you're saying. It's kind of like Kendrick is now the Stone Cold Steve Austin, just like
Literally.
not giving a shit, which is cool. So let's go into the timeline. So the first thing that comes out is the first person shooter, which I think this year at least, minus all the stuff that happened in previous. But that
Exactly.
was with Drake and J. Cole, where they talk about the big three for the first time.
Yeah.
And
Is
then
it?
that was a harmless line
Yeah.
because he just says like I'm feeling like Muhammad Ali. That
Literally.
was it, right? But then after that, Like That came out. And
Yeah.
then he goes like, "Fuck the big three, it's just Big Me," which is like fair. It's a little like I don't think it's that bad, but yeah, it is a little bit of a dig.
It's
Uh,
yeah.
but this is the
Yeah.
one you're saying that they had a cease and desist on.
Yeah, so apparently this is what they're saying. Like Drake put out a cease and desist on the Like That record,
Yeah,
and Kendrick mentions that in one of the records. I
yeah.
think it was
And I
it was
think
either
Metro, I think
Euphoria
like
or something like
released
that.
the email or something.
Yeah, he released the email, and then yeah, apparently like they're trying to go for the angle that Drake is like a Karen of rap.
Yeah,
He's telling on people. He's putting out the cease and desist. He's pulling strings in the industry, and it's kind of tracking really well.
yeah,
It's I don't know. It sounds horrible, man, but like they're not wrong. They're not wrong. This guy's out here like pulling strings, like really
yeah.
controlling things, and he's the biggest artist in. I mean, you could say he's the biggest artist in rap, and that's true. But again, he's not the best. I think
Hmm.
Kendrick. I mean, it was destined to happen. Kendrick is a battle tested rapper. He's a kid from Compton, bruh. He
Yeah, yeah,
literally grew up with like some Pyrus, like Bloods, his family members. Like he was the good kid in a mad city. Like
yeah,
that was his angle. So like got out of Compton, rapped his way out, and the rest is history, man. Like they represent two things. Like Kendrick is, he's from the bottom.
yeah.
Drake is
Underdog.
from the Drake is from the silver spoon. So it's like
Yeah,
people love to see an underdog. I think Kendrick in this instance, he's the underdog, but he's beating Drake's ass, man. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
That's just me.
That's true. And then after that, J. Cole came out with 7 Minute Drill, which is ironically on the album Might Delete Later, which he did delete later, which I
Literally,
think is
he deleted
which
it.
I think is
He
hilarious.
deleted it. I think
And
it's
then
funny.
it's so funny. And then he at a concert and he talks about like, yo, he doesn't feel right about this. He doesn't feel good about this. He had a
Best
bad
business
feeling.
move. Best business move you could make, man. Good
Smartest man in
job.
hip hop. Smartest
Smartest
man in hip hop.
man in hip hop, bro. And we were clowning. I apologize, J. Cole. I apologize, bro. Nah, bro. I'm excited for the next album, man. I'm excited for the next album. That's how I'm serious about this, man.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't expect it to be like this, but he made the right decision because there's some
Yeah.
crazy ass allegations out here.
No, this is not a normal beef, man. Like they're not just
Nah,
calling him like, "Oh, is this your girls' tour?" Like it's not one of those kind
nah.
of lines, man. They came for the jugular.
Legal. Nah,
Legal,
this we're getting legal out here, man.
dude. These accusations are going to stick with Drake for a long time, even if they're
Nah,
like completely false. They're going.
literally. And I think Kendrick. I think obviously he was fed this information from Drake. I don't know why you would feed someone that, but like
Yeah,
still, it's that's something that you can't get off of you. Like once you get an accusation, man, like that's something that haunts you. Like it can be true or not, but like people
yeah.
aren't gonna trust you. Like people aren't gonna trust you around kids. Like
No.
people are gonna be suspect. Like last thing you want is an allegation. And I
Yeah.
think I don't know. It's just something like that. It's horrible. But also, Drake coming back with the, Kendrick's a woman beater. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy too. But we'll get into that.
That's it. So the next thing that comes up is push-ups, and then Taylor made freestyle, and Taylor made freestyle, I believe, was pulled because he used AI of like
Yeah.
Tupac,
So
and he got a cease and
yeah.
desist for that.
So the Tupac estate, and people are saying someone from TDE actually contacted the estate. They basically
Yeah,
said that like, you disrespected Tupac, you disrespected his likeness. So
yeah,
the estate basically got that pulled off, and a lot of people like they like the approach.
yeah,
They like the mind games. Using someone's idol. Kendrick
yeah,
was 6 years old when he met Tupac.
yeah,
Like that, there's that big story of like Kendrick going to the California, I think it was the California Dream. I forget what that song was called, but like the California Dreams set, and he sees Dr. Dre and Tupac, and he's like 6 years old, and
Oh,
that was like the
California Love.
first time. California Loves, yeah, I'm tripping, but yeah, the California Love set, and he met him, and like that like basically changed his life, and that's what got him into rap in the first place. So it's like you're using someone's idol
Yeah.
as AI.
Yeah.
A little bit distasteful because it's an iconic musician in the culture,
Yeah.
and we're in this era where people are out here making like fake records, making fake albums of like our favorite artists, and it's kind of just like destroying the music industry as we know it. So it's like there's it's a double-edged sword. What he was able to make an effective diss, and it was interesting, but I personally don't like it because I feel like it kind of disrespects um, it disrespects the Tupac legacy, man. And just
Yeah.
no one should be using AI
Yeah.
of someone you don't know. You don't know Tupac. Why would you do
Yeah.
that?
That I agree. I thought that was a little weird. But in this song, he does go after Rick Ross. This is the one with the Metro Boom thing. He goes after Future, The Weeknd.
Let's
Uh,
go. Shut
then
your
he
whole
really
ass up and make some drums.
makes some drums. I'm not gonna lie,
Pretty
that,
good.
that
That's
line is
pretty
good.
good. It's a
That's a
good
good
record,
line.
and I think Drake really what he did, man. He made a decent song. Kind
Yeah,
of like back to back. Back to back was
yeah.
a
I
decent
love
song,
Back
but
to
it was
Back.
also it was also a good diss record. But
Yeah,
again, I don't feel like it did better than like that. I don't feel like it was better, but it was up there. It was pretty good. So
yeah.
obviously after that, Kendrick comes back, and then boom,
Joe, Euphoria was
Euphoria is wild.
something different. That's when everything changed. I feel like
Dude,
we were not playing the same game anymore.
this
'Cause-
man, bro, and what's really genius about it, man, there's so many layers. Like people were like out here like having double entendre offs, like trying to like decode like the meanings
yeah,
behind it. But yeah, he went pretty deep on that, man. A lot of people they don't like Kendrick for the simple fact that he's very like his style is his music has like a very deep meaning to it. It's
yeah.
not music you play in a club. It's music that has a lot of thought put into it, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people hate that. But he went off, man. He had like three
Yeah,
different beats in one. It was a 6-minute record. He's out here talking about Drake's basically everything. He's shitting on Drake on that one, but
yeah.
personally, man, I felt like it was a decent song. It's definitely top three in the entire beef. But
Really, I
yeah,
haven't.
dude.
Well, it depends on how you look at it because, like, for me, the line where he just like switches up the beat and goes like, "I hate the way you walk. I hate the way you talk." Ugh, God, that thing is
It's
so
so
viral right
evil.
now.
It's so evil, man. It's so evil. I was like, dude, this man really like does not like this guy, and I
It's not
understand why
friendly
they
after
have
that. I
beef.
was like, "Oh, he
Yeah,
hates him. Oh
dude.
shit."
I was scared. I gotta read some of these lines, man, because
Yeah,
like
yeah, go ahead.
this joint, and then naming it Euphoria off of a show called
Yeah,
Euphoria, which is
yeah,
based off some high schoolers like doing some wild, like, bruh, power. That's a chess move. I'm not gonna lie. That's
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
clever. That's pretty clever. But dude, the record is ruthless. But you can go ahead and keep talking. I'm gonna find some.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's really interesting. And also like Euphoria has this like meaning where it's like you have this like basically euphoric state where you're just kind of just like, getting everything out and feel at peace. And him just like getting all of this off his chest was him feeling euphoric about it. And I was like, oh man, this is real. And I just when I listened to that, I was like, oh, this is not a friendly rivalry. It's not making fun of someone's shoe size and someone's height. This is like something you don't come back from. And then
you don't.
he also mentioned that like he doesn't like the way he says the N-word. And I was like, oh, well, that opens up a can of worms.
Yeah,
And I was just
it
like,
really
oh,
does.
I was
It's
like, this is interesting. Because the discourse
it's kind
behind
of
it is something
crazy.
I can't participate in. I don't want to, but I'm just
Yeah.
like, it's very interesting to see people participate in that. And I'm just like, we mentioned earlier about gatekeeping. Like there are places where gatekeeping is important. And now this guy like DJ Vlad, like he's getting like, pulled out of like all
Dude,
of this shit. And there are a lot of culture vultures in this. And
Vlad is
to
police. He's
yeah,
police,
and like
man.
the way I view hip hop is like I love hip hop to death, but I know that like I have a limit about like how involved and how much I could participate in this culture because it's intertwined with black culture and there's something they'll
Exactly.
never understand because you're not
Exactly.
black, right? So it's people who are part of the culture and fans of the cultures, they need to have this like idea that like, hey,
Confidence.
there's a limit. There's a limit here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And also like me being a young person, also like this isn't the first beef that's ever existed. Like
Yeah.
there's been beefs that have been bigger, so it's like, like again, it goes back to confidence, man. Like, do you know your stuff? Do you read up on everything? Like, do you understand how big this is to the community and how important it is? Like, do you understand like the nuances and the angles that they're coming from? Like,
Yeah.
obviously, like the Drake line that you were talking about. Like, Drake has had a life that's similar to a white man. Like,
Yeah.
his upbringing was very wealthy. Like he's lived, a Jewish background, and like
Yeah.
that's cool. But like his connection to his father isn't really that great, and
Yeah.
he didn't really have that connection until he got older. So like that's really the criticism with him. Like he's coming at black culture.
Yeah.
He has G Unit chains. Like
Yeah.
he's very similar to a white kid from the suburbs, and I
Right.
feel like that's the angle that everyone's coming from because he's not really connected to the culture in the same way that we are because we grew
Mm.
up with black parents,
Yeah.
we grew up in the black, so that's really what people are talking about. But
Yeah. And it's like
yeah,
Toronto. It's not like, if which
Black
is the
America,
equivalent of
it's
Manhattan.
very
It's like
different.
it's not like the Bronx or like Camden or Compton are that are like that, but like, we don't know. It's just
Right.
really, really strange. But someone said, I love this comment. Drake replied with the 10 things I hate about you clip, which is pretty funny.
Dude,
So
and it was funny, but it's like, why are we tweeting? Like, just get the
yeah,
rap, and it's like the antics are more important than the actual purpose of this because it's a sport. Like I said, like this is a
yeah,
competition, so just like get straight into it. But again, that's kind of what Kendrick was doing. He was saying, I hate you. I hate this about you. I hate the way that you walk. I hate the way that you talk. Like,
yeah.
and yeah, like the beef is they they'll never make music ever again together. It
No.
won't happen.
But
The beef
like
beef is serious.
and then he came out with 616 in LA where he talked about having moles in his camp, right? Which like now I'm like, if I was Drake, I'd be super paranoid because they're finding out a lot of stuff. There's pictures of like stuff he owns, his
The
Ozempics and
glove.
like the
The glove,
glove and
man.
all this stuff. And I'm just like, bro, that's coming. The cold is coming from inside the house. Like that's
Literally.
crazy.
And what's even crazier is like Kendrick is so he they're both really good at like throwing jabs like
Yeah.
and doing it behind the scenes because like there are some things that we didn't catch until like after we had like looked into like the lyrics and everything like the 616 in LA, like Drake's signature thing is a timestamp and a location like
Yeah.
um it'll be like a city and then a time that he's rapping
Yeah.
about, so like that's his signature like rap thing. But
Right.
for Kendrick to do it, like he's kind of just taking a different look into it, and like he's breaking it down, man, and like he like what he did with that record, man, like that was just like straight up psychoanalysis. Like all of his records have been just like the inside of Drake's
Yeah.
brain, like all his insecurities, like he's been talking about them, and like it's pretty smart. I like the angle that he's going for, but 616, like the time, that's the death of I think that was like the death of Tupac. It was
Ah.
also, or it might have been the birth. I don't remember, but like that was also the murder of, um, like the OJ trial. Like when the OJ
Oh
trial, that
yeah.
was
Yeah.
616. Like that was also an angle that they were going for. So like people were connecting it to
The
so many things,
layers.
but yeah, like, and that's what Kendrick does, man. Like
Yeah.
his music is critically acclaimed for a reason. Like
Yeah.
it's music is that's very deep, and that's why he has the Pulitzer Prize.
Sure.
He's a writer. That's what he
Yeah.
does.
I mean, he studied this. This is like a literal art to him. We have Drake come out with Family Matters, where he talked about his infidelity, his cheating, and then him being like a fake activist. Uh, there are some things in this one that he says that like,
Kind of
um, uh,
crazy.
yeah,
Kind of out of pocket too. Like,
the
and
George
it's like
Zimmerman line was a little weird.
that's
Like,
crazy.
I'm
That's
like,
crazy.
what
I'm
are you
about
doing
to
here?
go George Zimmerman mode. Like
And Kyle
that's kind
Rittenhouse.
of, dude. That's not normal, bro. Like that proves the point. You're a white kid from the suburbs, bro. Like, why
Yeah, I
are
was
you
like,
out here like saying some wild shit like that. That's not something that I would bump. Maybe someone would, but like culturally, I think a lot of people would think that that would be culturally insensitive and out of
Yeah,
touch. But again, this is a rap game. Like people say what they want. There are no rules.
there are no rules, I
But
guess.
again,
Yeah.
you are gonna lose approval from the culture because this is what you're saying, and people aren't tapped in like you're not tapped in like that. You don't know about the culture or anything. You don't know how big that was. So it's like,
Yeah.
why would you even touch upon something like that? You could have used
Yeah.
any. You
That's
could have used any murderer. Like you could have said OJ or something like that, or something else,
John
man. But like,
Dillinger, anything,
yeah,
right? But like the guy who killed Trayvon Martin, like, what, are you serious? That how
that's
I
wild.
that did not sit right with me. And there, I think he also made comments to freeing the slaves or something like that.
Yeah, freeing this.
Which
You
like,
rap like you freed the
yeah,
slaves or something. And again, Kendrick is a very conscious rapper.
yeah,
That's he has, like I said, like the cultural aspect to it. All that stuff is really important to him. So it's it's kind of sad that he'd take that angle and do something like that, man. But again, it's Drake. Drake doesn't have a connection to Black American culture in the same way that we do. So like, you can't really hold it against him. Like,
yeah.
it's who he is. So, I
S-
mean, it's kind of
Someone
sad that he'd
said
go for that.
someone said his ghostwriter sabotaged him on that one,
Nah,
which
for real. That was some sabotage type stuff,
that
man.
was sabotage.
That was some Klansman type shit. That was some
That's
Klansman type
crazy.
shit,
And then we get like one of the most devastating songs that I've ever heard, which is "Meet the Grams,"
dude.
where it
Terrifying.
that song is terrifying and creepy. And he has this line where he goes like, "Must have struck a chord in A minor." The entire
Dude.
song is in A minor, and A minor is a very creepy sound. I
Yeah,
was
bro.
like, and all the keys to A minor are white keys. It's just the layers there were
Or no,
insane.
that's the last one. That's the not like us, the A
Oh,
minor
not
one.
like us. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but you're right. The song is in A minor. It sounds like a creepy Jordan Peele type of
Yeah.
like horrorcore beat.
Yeah.
So like that's why it's like it's crazy to listen to, and like the way he sounds like he's like demented. Like it has this ominous sound, and
Yeah.
like it sounds like Kendrick is like spiraling and losing it. Like he really does not like this guy. Like he hates him,
Yeah.
and yeah, just the angle that he's going for, bro. Like it's strategic,
Yeah.
and obviously at the response that we got with Drake, it didn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of like a insidious version of Stan, where like you're just like reading a letter
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
rap. And I'm
He's
just like,
coming
but it's
at
not
family.
addressed to Drake. It's to his dad, it's
His
to his
son.
mom,
It's
his
crazy,
son, and his daughter. That
bro.
he, oh my God, that part was
Literally,
wild.
dude. The part he said, "Dear Adonis," like when he first starts out, "Dear
Yeah.
Adonis," bro. Like that is just some maniacal, evil stuff, bro. Like he's over here saying that like your grandfathers should have used a condom,
Random, yeah.
like that's just crazy. But I like the fact, like it's kind of like you were saying, like it had a concept to it. It was like a therapy session. He's like, sit
Yeah.
down, Sandra. Sit down, Mr. Graham. I'm gonna talk to you. And like a
Yeah.
straight up psychoanalysis, just like going at him, like really giving him just the bits and pieces of who that family is and why they're shit people. And it's just like, damn, like he hates his ass, bro. Like
That's
this is just crazy
that's
as fuck.
that's just savage. Like he doesn't care if he ever works with him again or is ever friends with him ever again, because I don't know if they could be in the same room together after that one. Like
They
the
can't,
whole
bro.
family.
Bro, they about to get the BET Awards shot up, bro. Like the BET Awards ain't gonna happen this year, man.
Yeah.
BET Awards ain't gonna happen with them in the building. Like it's just you can't do it. So it's like,
No.
yeah, like there's gonna be grudges, man. And I think like my fear is that the street politics and everything gets in because Kendrick is tapped in with the West culture, the West
Yeah.
Coast culture. He grew up with some again, with Pyrus and like
Yeah.
Bloods and stuff like that. And again, he might not have been a gang member, but
Yeah.
again, he lived in close coordination with people like that. And then also when Drake came up, like I said, he signed to Jay Prince. And Jay
Mhm.
Prince is like a really big name in Houston. And for
Yeah.
those of you that know, like all that stuff with like Offset, Takeoff, when Takeoff died, just know, that's Jay Prince was kind of tapped into that, man. Like he's allegedly responsible for it. I'm not saying I'm responsible for it. I'm saying like those were names that were named. So it's
Yeah.
pretty tough, man. Like last thing we want is people behind the scenes instigating things and then someone gets hurt, someone dies,
Yeah.
and now we're talking about something completely different. Like that's the last thing we want. Again, I
Yeah.
think they should definitely keep it on the wax and they should never go to each other's cities. Like
Yeah.
Kendrick, don't go to Toronto. Drake, do not go to the West Coast. Like
No.
maybe Drake would be safe, probably, but
I don't know. He said not to go to Oakland. So
dude, literally. But again, like I think what I love about this is that the internet stuff, it's a lot safer than you know the
yeah.
political stuff behind the scenes. Like obviously with Tupac and Biggie,
Yeah.
it was the people around them that kind of instigated that beef. Like
Yeah.
they really weren't. I mean, they hated each other and everything, but like there were people behind the scenes that made it way worse than it actually was,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
why they passed away. So it is
That is
what it
true.
is.
That is true. But I do understand how euphoric it'd be because there's some people uh that I would be like, yo, I hate the way that you talk. I hate the way you talk. I like go through all
Dude,
that stuff. It's
I feel that
euphoric.
energy when you're at
I
work,
f-
bro. Like you're
oh
like,
my god.
I don't hate you personally, but I hate
Yeah.
the way that literally I hate the way that you act, the
It's
way that you want to talk.
the memes are insane because everyone just does like there's one person who does like Michael Scott to Toby and it's like they play the song and
I'm
just people who
done.
like characters who just hate each other for no reason and
Dude,
it's
that's
just
funny.
so funny. It's so funny to me.
It's meme worthy, man. Like it's entertainment at the end of the day. Like
Yeah.
for us, it's entertainment.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I like about Meet the Grams, it kind of interludes into Not Like Us because he does say, and I thought TikTokers do this. He said that he's like he's a musical theorist, and in it he says that I'm gonna up the score, and a score is like a musical score, and
Exactly.
by upping the keys in the score, you get the
Dude,
song Not Like
music
Us.
theory, music theory in real time. Like, and that's the genius behind it, man. Like, we get to see, a writer actually like make a record, and it was fast too. Like when that record was released, it was pretty soon. It was like right
Yeah,
after Drake had dropped, and
yeah.
then man, it's just like to see something like that. It really shows how good Kendrick actually is because like he's
He
making
had it ready.
records like that 20 minutes after Drake is dropping, like 10 minutes after Drake is dropping, and it's like, dude, this is a talent. Like, I think there's like different levels of intelligence. Obviously, there's people that are really good at science. There's people that are
Mhm.
really good at math, literary arts, all that stuff. Like music, I feel like you have to be a really intelligent person
Yeah,
to really like deconstruct stuff like that and rap it.
yeah.
And I feel like you got to be a savant, man. There's very few
No.
people that can do it and understand it. And it's just that's what I always tell people, man. Like hip hop is one of those art forms that needs to be respected, man. Just like any other genre, like jazz, like classical
Yeah.
music, like it may have a different cultural background, but like this is genius, man. Like this is music in real, like it's music in real time, man. It's
Hmm.
intelligence. It's a form of intelligence, in my opinion.
Yeah. But Not Like Us, unlike the other songs, is a club song. So
Yeah, it's a
so
club song. It's a
everyone's gonna
power
be
play,
hearing that in
man.
the clubs all
It's
summer.
dude,
That's
it's so
damn. That's
smart.
just
It's so smart. And people, I think the criticism is, and this is definitely a generational thing because if you look at this is before my time,
yeah.
Ether's not a club banger.
No, no, you can't.
Ether ain't no. Maybe Jay Z's Takeover is, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a club banger, but it's still a hit record. It sounds like
Yeah.
it. Jay Z makes hit records,
Right.
so it's just recently, I feel like the Pusha T stuff is kind of because of that specific beef.
Yeah.
It's really brainwashed us, and like the Meek Mill stuff, it's brainwashed us too because like we're looking for a hit record instead of good rhyming.
Yeah.
We're looking for the gotcha moment. The
Yeah.
gotcha moment is some tea, some something behind the scenes that we don't know about you. So like that's why they're hiring fake actors and
Yeah.
looking for people in their own camps. The OVO mole, like the whole joke behind
Yeah.
the OVO mole was like a really big thing. So it's like just rap. Like this, like I said, like rap music is competitive. Just if you just rap good, that's
Yeah.
how we determine who wins, man. And like that, and that's what I'm really trying to get. I'm trying to get people to understand. Like rap music isn't like your pop music. Like this isn't a popularity contest. It's a skill-based sport. It's a
Yeah.
skill. And if you lose, you could be one of the biggest rappers in the game. If you lose, I mean, it is what it is. I'm still gonna listen to your music, but like
Yeah.
this ain't no. It's it ain't no game, man. But it is. It's a game, you know.
Yeah.
But keep it competitive, and that's what makes the sport so good. That's what makes any art form good. Film,
Yeah.
um, anything outside of like music, like books, anything, comic books, like when it's competitive, it's typically pretty good.
Yeah. Like I agree because in most of the situations, everyone came out pretty much okay. Jay-Z and Nas both successful.
Exactly.
And then you have Meek Mill and Drake. Like even Meek Mill did fine afterwards. I think he came out with
Absolutely.
what you call it, Dreams and Nightmares, and that's one of his biggest hits. Uh, and maybe not Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly. I think he actually like switched genres, but like I don't. I was never really into that beef, to be honest with you. It was kind of
Yeah.
just
I feel
whatever.
like Eminem is definitely, especially because he was older at the time, like
Yeah.
that was, oh no, you have to really be a big Eminem fan to like get into his music. Oh
Yeah,
no.
like it was good. The rhymes were good. I just didn't care enough about Machine Gun Kelly to care about
Exact,
this
dude.
beef.
Literally. It's like
Yeah.
Eminem. It's not even a fair fight. Come on, bro.
No, I'm like, dude, go home to your wife, man. You got a wife that's super hot, way out of your league. Come on, Machine Gun
Dude,
Kelly.
Megan
Just
Fox is bad. You
yeah,
won. You
you
already won.
fine,
Just like move
right?
on, bro.
Just go home. But like, I don't know how Drake's gonna do after this because like these things are gonna stick. The
Oh, for sure.
allegations,
They're gonna
the
stick, man.
the the PBL, Metro made drums. He made a beat. Who makes an instrumental diss beat? When has that ever
Dude, I
happened?
don't know, but hey, he made some drums, man, and like he's the producer. I feel like Metro is like the Nick Fury in this situation. Like he's just recruiting everyone, like just trying to take out Thanos, rap Thanos, and
Rap
yeah, I think
Thanos.
yeah, that's what Drake is right now for a lot of people. Like he's the villain in this situation for some people. Kendrick is the villain, but I don't know. I don't know what to think about this, man. Like it's a beef like this is big, but you can't keep dropping shit and expect people to like actually care. Like at some
Yeah.
point, people are just gonna fall off, and I think by the ends of maybe Wednesday, it's done. Maybe
Yeah.
Drake drops an album, maybe Kendrick drops an album, and then we just kind of move on with our day. We had a good time on Twitter. Like
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
probably like the first time I'd say like the black community, or just the rap community in general, was just united, bruh. Everyone was in. Like we were looking at our screens, like
Yeah.
entertaining stuff. Like this was like a moment in history, and that's why I always say like this is bigger than WrestleMania. It was.
Yeah. No, that's true. I think one of the things is like if some of the stuff that I guess Kendrick says starts like coming out to be untrue, like the daughter thing, like that's
Oh,
something
dude.
that's probably easily provable. And if that starts pulling holes in his stories, then the whole thing kind of unravels a little bit.
He already won. If that is the case, he won. But again, a lot of people would say Kendrick won either way. But
Yeah.
obviously with the recent record that he dropped, the Heart Part 6,
Hmm.
um, basically what he's saying is that he had some people in his camp that double crossed Kendrick that was giving fake information. So if that is true, um,
Mm.
maybe Drake has the last laugh. I don't really know how that works, but hey, like
But like,
it served its purpose, I guess.
here's the thing. Maybe that worked really well with the daughter part, but the pedophile stuff, like, why would you do? Why would you
I
give
don't
that
know.
information from to you? That's just weird.
I don't
Even
know,
if it was
man.
fake.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing. Like, you've had like multiple allegations, man. Like we already talked about the
Yeah.
Billie Eilish, Millie Bobby Brown. Like that's something you want to distance yourself from for
Yeah.
forever, literally.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like a joke or something like that, like you don't want those rumors creeping up on you, man. Because like even an
No.
artist as big as Michael Jackson, man, like we're still talking about it and he's dead.
Right.
Like Michael Jackson passed away, we still talk about leaving Neverland. Like that's
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that haunts him to this day. So it's tough, man. Like I don't know what to think. And then he's out here saying like for this record, he's out here basically. I mean, I guess you could say he was like laughing at Kendrick experiencing like some abuse as a child. Like if that's a checkmate moment, that makes you look even worse because that's like a predator would absolutely laugh at a victim, you know?
Mm.
Like that's something that a predator would do. So it makes it look even worse. So it's I don't know. There's gonna be
That.
some people that said, the OVO Glazers, the OVO motherfuckers, they're gonna be like, Drake won. We can have, a victory party, or Kendrick won. We can have a victory party, but like, I don't know, man. Like, there's just so much going on. Like,
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
the end of the day, I was in it for the rap. I was in it for the music. Kendrick consistently, he doesn't really drop like that. So when he does, it's like it's cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, the fake leaks.
Yeah, someone said the fake leaks don't really have anything to do with calling Drake a colonizer because that had nothing to do with coming from his camp. So that's true.
Exactly.
That you can just see from the content that he puts out.
Exactly.
But this was really cool talking to you. I know we're
Absolutely,
some
man.
Salaam nerds. I do want to cover a few things for our audience real quick before we go.
Absolutely.
Yesterday was May the 4th, so Star Wars Day. So I'm wearing my Star Wars shirt. I did want to share some Star Wars news before we go. The Acolyte is going to be, they just released their first trailer and it looks really cool. And it's going to take place 100 years before Phantom Menace. So that's what they announced. So
Interesting.
that's going to be cool.
Okay.
So we're going to see all
Interesting.
new people. The only person we may see is Yoda because Yoda is over 100 years old, but
Yeah.
is before the Phantom Menace. So most of the people they're all new characters.
They're not even born yet. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Here are all the other projects that are coming out. Skeleton Crew is coming out. Andor season 2 is coming out. Ahsoka season
I'm
2 is
psyched for
coming out.
that.
The Mandalorian and Grogu is coming out with a movie, not a
Yeah, the
show. It's a
movie.
movie.
Dude, that's a
Uh,
big deal, man.
yeah.
That's
Taika
gonna be that's
Waititi
gonna be
is
badass.
also coming out with a Star Wars movie. How do you feel about that? Because I didn't love Love and Thunder, and to see him with
Man,
Star Wars, I don't know.
I don't hate Taika Waititi. I just don't really feel like I don't know if he's the right guy, man. Because he always has like this comedic, edgy type of vibe to his films. And
Yeah.
that can work sometimes. Like with Thor, the third Thor, it kind of worked because he wasn't pushing it too far. Like
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth was kind of he was making the comedic jokes and it was really funny and stuff like that. But like when the film was serious, it was serious. When it was comedic. And like there was a perfect balance to it. But like with Thor: Love and
Yeah.
Thunder, I could not take a film like that serious at all. It just
No,
felt
me
like
neither.
it just felt like I don't know, just like I didn't really have an interest for it.
I would
Personally, I
hate
feel like they
to.
chose the wrong
I don't.
person
I
for
don't
the
think I
job.
would enjoy seeing a Love and Thunder version in the Star Wars universe. But if they create all new characters and everything is brand new and it doesn't
Exactly.
really relate to the story a little
That
bit,
could work.
it could work.
That could
Brand
work.
new comedies, stuff. It might be fine. The other thing, James Mangold had the Dawn of the Jedi's coming
Yeah.
out, so that's
Bro. Now that's supposed to be like a biblical epic. Now I'm
yeah,
vibing with that. Like that sounds clean. That's
that
something that
looks
I would
really good.
watch because it's like
Yeah.
basically it's kind of the same thing. Like it takes place before the
Yep.
Jedi Order, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm psyched for.
Which is really cool because we get to see how the Jedi came about, and we're also going to get to see the new version of the Jedi with Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy's new Jedi movie starring Rey. So that's interesting. We're going to see like how the Jedi started, how it ended, and now we're going to see the new Jedi's, the one that Rey is going to,
That's dope.
control, and so that's going to be really really cool. So I'd like to see that. So that's some cool Star Wars news for you guys. Other news, The Boys returns June 13th.
Season 4, man.
Season 4 is good.
Season 4. I need Homelander to die. Please. I need that
Yeah.
man to die.
Oh my
He's a
God.
horrible human being, bro.
That guy, he's such a good villain though, but he's
That's what I'm
crazy.
saying, dude. There's just actors that you hate their roles so much, like you have to appreciate their craft, man. Like,
Yeah.
just The Boys, man. It's one of those shows that's really pushing the boundaries. Like Marvel's not doing what it's doing, DC's not doing
No.
this. Like it's actually like good. There's a good message behind it. Like it relates to the world that we're living in right now. Like
Yeah.
it's perfect, man. The Boys is one of those shows that it's one of those shows that you rarely get in a lifetime, man.
Yeah. No, it's really, really good. The other thing is, like, I even love their spinoff, Gen V, but some really
Dude,
bad news.
dreaded.
The Chance
Actor
Perdomo,
passed away.
who passed away, and they're
Yeah.
not going to recast him. They're going to find
Oh
another
wow.
respectful way to kind of like carry on with the character, but they're not going to
Interesting.
recast him. It's going to be like change the storyline.
Gotcha. They can still
Yeah.
make it work, man.
I think they can make it
still
work,
make it
yeah.
work.
But that was really sad. And while I have you here, what are your thoughts about Cap 4? Because we're boycotting Cap 4. We're not super happy about it. I just saw a Happy Meal from McDonald's, and
Yeah.
and freaking Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson is not even front and center. Instead, the Zionist character Sabra Ruth
That's
is
crazy.
up front in the front of the
So
Happy Meal. That's
I
wild.
wanted to ask you about that. So Sabra,
Yeah.
that name, I don't know if it has any like cultural significance to you, but like, is there a
They're
deeper
the
meaning to
genocide.
that name?
Yeah, they're the genocide named after Sabra. So basically, what happened? They're called the Sabra massacres, which
It's
happened.
crazy.
Now, I think technically the character got its name before the
Yeah,
massacres.
it's an old character.
Yeah, it's an older character, but the character was made for propaganda. It wasn't like that was specifically why that character is made to
Interesting.
be a Zionist propaganda character, and then be propaganda for the IDF and
Gotcha.
Mossad.
So there's
So
there's like a commentary behind it.
yeah, the commentary
Essentially.
behind it, like in
Interesting.
all her comic book issues, they'll never say the word Palestinian. They'll say Arabs, and
Wow.
they're all dressed as like like terrorists, and it's like always showing them in the bad light. The comics are very much like propaganda, right?
Yeah.
So to take a character who's so obviously propaganda and put them in this movie, which is like
Wow.
freedom, Captain America, it's really problematic, especially with the things that are going on right now in
The
Gaza.
actor, and I
Yes.
did my research on the actor. It's pretty clear, like she's a clear Zionist. Like
She's a clear Zionist. She
that's
made a propaganda video about like in cartoon format about like Arabs being like scary bears and like trying to get into houses of like these little cute white blonde children, and it's really like blatant
crazy,
propaganda, right? So I love Sam Wilson. I want him to get his flowers, but like honestly, even if the Zionist character wasn't even there, it looks like he's being like shoved in the background of his own movie. They're gonna turn it into a Hulk movie. It's gonna be Red Hulk.
Yeah, I think they're actually doing a character like that. They're doing him a disservice, man. And Anthony Mackie's actually a pretty good actor, man. I
Yeah.
think I was just gonna post a video on that too. I made one today. I'll post it later. But Captain America, like even having a black Captain America, you can't expect him to be the same as Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
He can't have that same role that Steve had. Steve was the poster child for
Right.
the American dream, the American way. Like so, even what he represents isn't something that I personally like vibe with. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't have an issue with Sam Wilson being Captain America. I just feel like you're gonna have to get a writer that's experienced, that has the skill to write him in a different way. And I think
Well,
right
the
now,
problem is they've already like showed the movie to people, and it's gotten really bad reviews to the point they're like the
exactly,
message is very lukewarm, the chemistry
exactly.
is
See,
off, and they make Isaiah Bradley a villain, which is really dumb because he's the first black Captain America, and
exactly.
they turn him into a Winter Soldier. Like you say a few passwords and he goes crazy and he becomes like a villain. I that doesn't seem very interesting to me. So like, there's nothing about this movie that I've heard that has made me want to go, oh, I really want to see it, other than the fact that I want to support a Black Captain America. But I don't think that's something I can do with Sabra being a character in this movie.
Yeah, man. And I was really thinking about like, because I still haven't seen Captain Marvel too, man. I think after I heard all the Disney stuff, man, like donating to, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm right, but like the IDF, all that stuff, man, like I was like, Marvel, I'm gonna give you a timeout for a good while. That's why like I
yeah,
unsubscribed to Disney Plus, wasn't watching anything on Disney. Like I was really like I wasn't vibing with it. So it's I don't know. I don't know what my approach is gonna be. Like I might just wait till it's on. I
yeah,
don't know, streaming or something. But like personally, if you're gonna make a movie that has no message, it doesn't really have a backbone to it, or like it doesn't have a deeper meaning to it, I'm
mhm,
not gonna watch it. It's just if you're gonna make a Falcon and the Winter Soldier too, and I have my issues with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like it's not gonna go well. You're gonna make a
yeah,
bad movie, and then they're not
yeah,
gonna make a sequel to it. So they kind of shot themselves in the foot by making a
yeah.
project like this. But again, whatever Anthony Mackie's in, I'm gonna watch it. I like him as an actor. He's pretty cool.
Same.
Like if this movie fails, so be it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really care.
There's more important stuff happening in the world right now than
Exactly
a Marvel movie for sure. But man, listen, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Oh,
for sure, man.
hold on.
Oh, you're good.
Lost my headphones. Hold on.
Are those beats?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah. Are
Okay,
those
sorry.
beats?
What?
No. Okay.
No, they're not beats.
I thought they were beats. Yeah.
No. I have bees, but they're for the gym. This is just for the
Gotcha.
studio.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, thank you so much for being on the show. Really appreciate
Oh
you
man.
dropping some knowledge. We had a lot of fun talking about the rap beefs, a lot of fun talking about Star Wars and talking about Cat 4, man. Listen, can't wait to have you back on the show. Let me know when you're available. And also, I'm going to be in the Dallas area in August. Maybe we'll hit the gym.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna be in Dallas. I may be in the West Coast or the East
Okay.
Coast. I don't know, depending on what gig I get. But
All right, cool. Let me know where you're at, man.
yeah,
We'll
for
meet
sure.
up one day. Or if you ever want to come to any of
Absolutely.
the Comic Cons or San Diego, New York, hit me up there.
That'd be
I'm there all the
live.
time.
That'd be
Yeah.
live.
I'm always there with
Dude.
Frankie and Straw Hat and all these people, man. They're always down there. So we're always having a good time. You should come down.
Absolutely, man. Dude, I appreciate you, man.
No problem, man. Thank you for coming. And guys, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. And until next time, guys, Salaam, nerds.